Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is FOXSOL, and thank you for taking the time to come and watch this video. Now, this is a video that I promised a long time ago that I was going to go ahead and repair and redo, and finally, I'm coming to do it now. Yes, right, we are going to be doing the Sol Badguy lore video. It's been some time, because if you never know, the original video did get screwed up with the audio, the music, and the volume levels were fucked, and I'm gonna be honest, I got too lazy back in the day to fix it and actually re-upload it when it all happened, because I wasn't really thinking that this channel would take off like the way it did. So I'm finally coming around to do it, and instead of trying to fit everything into one part, we're gonna make this a special, and we're gonna make this into either a I would say a two-part episode of Guilty Gear lore with our protagonist, Sol Badguy. So without further ado, we're gonna get started here right now. Sol Badguy, the main protagonist for Guilty Gear. He is an anti-hero bounty hunter with an apparent laziness and gruff attitude that really holds him solid with his own ability to fight. Sol is a very amazing, intelligent individual with an emotional heart that is covered by layers of brash exterior that he has developed from his harsh past. Sol was a human that was converted into a gear. He was originally the prototype gear. Now, Sol, we're going to get in, before we get in with his actual lore, we're just going to give a few little course information about him. Sol is around 5'9", weighs 74 kilograms, has brown eyes, brown hair. He also is of the American nationality. Sol was given several different titles throughout his years of existence. The most notable ones would be the Flame of Corruption or Immortal Flame, God of War, and Guilty Gear. That's just a name, just a few. Sol Badguy is also that type of person that will only speak to others when he has to, because he has this attitude that he has developed that reflects into everything he does. From his fighting style, which you can see is a rough and unpolished style that is catering to his attitude. However, when he does execute his fighting skills, he does it with absolute precision. While being known as a rude or impatient son of a bitch to those people who interact with him, whether they be friend or whether they be foe, he only follows one path, his path, without any diversion, as he searches for the answers that he seeks. Now, to the exact history of Sol is very much unclear. There is only a few canon facts that we can know for certain. One of being which is that Sol's real name is Frederick. He was originally a scientist that majored into magic particle physics and was working previously on other projects before he joined with the core team of scientists for the Gear project. This is where he joined with a lovely female known as Aria and a co-worker known as Azuka, aka that man. As he was part of this project, not only was he part of it, but he also led the Gear project. But this also led into him becoming the prototype Gear from 100 years before the very first events of Guilty Gear, the first game. It was about 2016. Frederick had gotten the horrible news about Aria's illness. He fought her to go ahead and try his best to find a cure. This was to his portrayal, as he was in love with Aria. But then later he was betrayed by his own colleague and closest friend, Azuka, also known as that man, who had forcibly turned him and converted him into the first prototype Gear. Somehow, though, after being converted into the prototype gear, Sol managed to escape the lab. And while he escaped the lab, he fled. And he discovered a means to help keep the gear form, Dragon Stall, in check by suppressing its powers underneath the headband that he wears to this day. This headband that he wears allows him to maintain his human form appearance despite being a gear. The headband also hides the red brand mark that is upon his forehead, which is a telltale mark that would expose him to others as a gear. Sol, since then, has made it his personal mission to destroy all the gears that he could, so that way they could not be used for war. He destroyed several gear plants, which eventually earned him the designated title, Badguy, from authorities who could not identify him when he caught news that a gear known as Justice was in completion. He created an anti-gear weapon as a response to go ahead to defeat her. It was called the Outrage. The Outrage is actually not just one weapon, but several. 8 components to be exact, called Jinki, which are known and referred to as scarce treasures. These 8 components have the ability to greatly amplify the wielder's magical abilities. The reason why the Outrage was split into 8 scarce treasures, though, is because the power of the complete Outrage was far too cumbersome for that of Sol Badguy to control, as it had no predetermined limits to how much mana it could actually generate. So this could actually possibly destroy the world if its power was not properly regulated. Now, only 4 of the Outrage weapons are currently known to be active. One being Sol Badguy's own Fire Seal that he combined with the Singai, also known as the Flashing Tooth, to create the Junkyard Dog Mark III. You have Kai's Thunder Seal, Anjimoto's Twin Fans, and the other 3 are supposedly in custody with the United Nations. And it's also possible that Slayer is also in possession of an unknown scarce treasure that we do not know of. Later on, as time would pass, Frederick, Sol Badguy, had came across and saved Cliff Anderson, one of the leader of the Holy Knights, or Holy Order, when Cliff was still just that of a young boy, from which he would later encounter another, a Nightwalker, known as Slayer, the one who bestowed upon him the name Sol, and would act as a mentor upon Sol. Now, it was roughly about a half a century later, where Sol himself was recruited into the Order as a bounty hunter named Sol Badguy. Sol took part in the Crusades, ironically becoming one of the best fighters on the human side. At this time, he was a member of the scarce Order of the Holy Knights. This is where Sol had acquired the nickname, the Corrupted Flame. During this time, a name such figures as Ino or Eno and Justice would use for him later on. However, Sol himself became very disenchanted with the methods of the Scarce Order, and later he would flee the Order, taking with him the Fire Seal, which the Holy Knights had come to consider a scarce treasure. This is the movement where he earned the title of a thief, and this also earned him to become Kai Kiss's eternal rival. The years would pass, but soon Sol Badguy faced Justice directly. The two have fought, and Justice had won. Also discovering that this moment from winning, that Sol was a gear, but not his true identity as a prototype gear. Justice attempted to assert herself, assert her power as a commander gear to control Sol, but with no luck. Sol, being a prototype instead of a full gear, was unable to be controlled by Justice. This was making Justice now confused, and exploiting her confusion from this fight, the Holy Order, led by Kai, sealed Justice away, bringing the war at this moment to an end. It just wouldn't be until the events of the very first Guilty Gear games and story that Sol would return as a winner of the tournament in the game. And this is where Justice discovers that Sol is in fact Frederick. Justice, in her dying words, comments that she wishes that the three of us could talk one last time. This is where Sol, with built-up anger and aggression, his emotions going ravage, he vows and makes us swear to kill that man for taking the one thing that he treasured the most away from him. Now, this is part 1 of Sol Badguy's lore. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, please leave a like, please leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel to be alerted for when the next Sol Badguy Part 2 lore video comes. I am hoping that by you watching this video and comparing it to the very first one that I did, that hopefully you guys can see that maybe I've done a little bit better of a job. If I did, I would really appreciate it. And if you got any kind of criticism, also leave that below in the comment section. I do read the comments, and I do try to base my content around it. So hopefully, guys, and later in the future, I will catch you on live streams, which we will be doing right here on this YouTube channel for Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator, Revelator 2, Rev 2, and whatever else happens. We'll also be doing other games. I have no idea when that's going to happen or what I'm going to do. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much. I will catch you on the flip side. Take it easy. And remember, Guilty Gear Xrd is better.